We have another local election coming up next month already with a lot of big races. Here with insight on where we are is Seattle U political science professor Marco Lowe. Marco, thank you so much for being here. I think this election, it seems the mayoral race of Seattle is pretty much marked by issues of public safety and homelessness, really. And where do the two candidates, Bruce Harrell and Lorena Gonzalez, stand on those issues?
I think we've seen both make it a priority on what they're talking about. How could you not? And any polling, unhoused issues across really the West Coast are in the 70s, which is incredibly high for concern. You see Council President Lorena Gonzalez taking a comprehensive person-by-person approach, but not committing to removing people from public space before they have a place to go. On the other hand, we have a former council member and council president and even mayor for a little while, Bruce Harrell, saying, I will be doing a comprehensive approach as well. But if somebody is not willing to leave a park so that it can be used by everybody, including the unhoused, then there could be ramifications. And I think that is probably the most striking line between them.
Interesting. And what about the defund the police or fund the police more paradigm that's going on right now? Do either of them take a stand on that?
I think both are talking about it quite a bit. We're seeing 911 calls getting longer. The other problem that sort of muddies the water a little bit is that during the pandemic year in 2020, crime was at an all-time low nationwide. So when we hear it's up X% year over year, it's a little bit of a skewing of the data. Even the New York Times is playing a little bit with this. Crime is up and response times are down. I do think that both are showing concern, but I think you might see a little more on Council President Gonzalez's approach that we are trying to find ways other than police to solve the root of crime issues. And you see that in the Harrell camp as well. You also see Harrell talking about we do need police, and here are the functions here as well. Okay,
another hot race is Seattle City Council, District 9, Nikita Oliver and Sarah Nelson. Two very, I think, divergent philosophies in terms of how our city should be run and how we should prosecute or not prosecute as well, right?
Yeah, I think you see in the council race, it's very similar. And frankly, all three of the big races this year, and even four, might fit along the same lines that we discussed in the mayoral race. What is the future and how we approach the unhoused? What is the future of policing? All of these folks probably would agree on what their final outcome is. The path is very different.
Okay. Seattle City Attorney Ann Davison and Nicole Thomas Kennedy. Where do each of them stand?
You probably have never seen two more divergent candidates, and you've probably never seen a city attorney race with more attention. Nicole Thomas Kennedy is very passionate about other ways to handle and arrest or to stop crime than the simple act of a police officer arresting and then incarcerating somebody. I think from Ann Davison's side, she also discusses those things in diversion of people outside of a court and being in a jail, but also saying we have to punish people that are committing crimes, particularly those that hurt people. And it is as polarized of two candidates as I can remember seeing in some time in a local race.
Yeah, in a way, it really kind of illustrates the great philosophical divide between residents as well. I mean, it seems everybody has a strong opinion about how to take these current problems and move forward, right? And that's what we're seeing. We have the long-term care tax mandate coming up. It's confused a lot of people, I know that, and it's angered quite a few as well. How can you put some perspective on that for us?
Well, it was like all great legislative ideas, pass it in 1 year and don't implement it for a while. So this is a 2019 bill that is just over half a cent per $100, and it addresses long-term tax. It gets up there with people, and people are very upset. Washington State really does not like changes to their tax code, despite the fact our tax code is one of the worst in the country. And this is a way to address this looming baby boomer wave that are going to need long-term care and will either have to completely deplete their savings to qualify for federal assistance or won't have any at all, and a family member will be their caretaker. I think this being dropped the way it was has shocked people, and there's a chance it might be repealed at the ballot.
Yeah, it seems to me they didn't do a great marketing job in terms of rolling this out. A lot of people were just sort of saying, where did this come from? And I don't remember a
Yes.
long discussion about this. It's just here. And now they're going to vote. They'll probably vote very emotionally on the issue, which is not a great way to deal with long-term problems, I guess. But that's where we are. That's politics. Thanks so much, Marco, for straightening all that out for us. Appreciate it.